Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my latest video, and as the video description tells you, I'm going to be doing a review of this Enigma, the best of Jeff Hardy. This is the first of the Jeff Hardy DVDs that TNA released, and it was one of the very first TNA DVDs that I got. I've watched it a few times and recently rewatched it after doing my up-to-date DVD collection, the TNA one. So I figured, what the hell, I'd do a quick review on it. Well, not so much a quick review, but you know, a review. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do is go through the matches one by one. There will be results given in this, so you know, obviously, spoiler alert. So yeah, I'll get on with it. So the first match on it is a X Division title match between AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is the surprise opponent for AJ. Kid Cash was originally scheduled to challenge Styles for the title, but he had a broken fibula, so that made it pretty much impossible for him to wrestle a full match. So TNA promised a mystery opponent, and lo and behold, Jeff makes his appearance. Don West and Mike Tenay do a really good job of putting over how big of a coup it is for TNA to sign Hardy. The unfortunate thing is that at this point he had been released by TNA, by WWE. Sorry, they just dropped him. He went to Ring of Honor and just got booed out of Ring of Honor, and just nobody wanted him there. So the next one of the big three at that time was TNA. They were happy to sign him. So yeah, this was his debut match. It is a pretty good match. Plenty of back and forth. Both guys in some pretty good moves. But then we don't actually get a conclusion to it, because Kid Cash and Dallas run out and basically ruin the match. And then AJ and Hardy end up cleaning house with a steel chair, and Hardy hits Dallas with a swanton. Next up is a Jeff Hardy contract signing, which to me seemed a bit strange that he'd already had one match, but then they were doing a contract signing. Dusty Rhodes comes out, as apparently he's the one responsible for brokering the deal with TNA and Jeff Hardy. Comes out, gives a little bit of a speech, uses his dined with king and queens and slept in alleyways and pork and beans and all that malarkey, and then makes a announcement that signing this guy wasn't about brings Jeff Hardy out, sorry, and then carries on making a speech about how it wasn't about having his own locker room and making sure that he had plenty of M&Ms backstage and that all the green ones were taken out. It was just all about doing what he loved, and that was wrestling. So Hardy's going around the ring from the turnbuckle, sort of asking the crowd, should I sign? Anyway, he jumps back down, and Dusty says there was one thing that did bring Hardy here. So Hardy signed the contract. Dusty pulls out another piece of paper from his little folder from his back pocket, lays it out, and basically says that this was the one thing that made Hardy come to TNA, and it's a world title shot. So Hardy signs that, and then Monty Brown comes out. He starts saying that he's next in line, not Hardy. It's good that you're here for the fans, blah blah blah, but I'm next for a title shot. Then out comes Jeff Jarrett wearing an absolutely ridiculous suit. He looks like he should be in an orchestra. Obviously he has the guitar with him. He comes out saying that Dusty doesn't have any authority to hand out title shots, blah blah blah. Slaps Hardy. Hardy fights back. Monty Brown just stands back and watches it all unfold. Hardy hits a swanton on Jarrett, and then as he gets up, Monty Brown hits him with a pounce, and I always loved that move, the pounce. I just thought it was brilliant. Jarrett gets up and just absolutely lays out Jeff Hardy with the guitar. So then we move on to match number 2 of the DVD, which is Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles and Ron Killings versus Monty Brown, Kid Cash and Dallas. Dallas is of course the original name of Lance Hoyt, for those of you who will know. For those of you who don't know, Lance Hoyt used to be known as Dallas. So the faces faces, use technical terms here, start off dominating. Kid Cash and Dallas gets a taste, as well as Monty, and then all three Styles, Killings and Hardy do simultaneous dives to the outside, and it looks really cool. It does look good. Dominate Cash for a little while longer until Monty Brown eventually gets tagged in and he takes over on Ron Killings. AJ makes a hot tag which goes until he gets leveled by Dallas with a big boot. Eventually Hardy gets tagged in and he's just absolutely on fire. Then it breaks down into just a big brawl between all six guys. Dallas gets isolated, excuse me, and Hardy ends up hitting a swanton for the 3 count. Jarrett comes out, takes liberties with Hardy, who we will be facing 2 weeks from now. Monty Brown hits Hardy with a pounce and stomps on him as Jeff Jarrett locks on the figure of 4. Match number 3 is the NWA World Heavyweight Title match. Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett, and this match has been subtitled The Date with Fate, and it gets hyped up by Mike Tenay and Don West as the biggest match in TNA history. Fight begins before Jeremy Borash can even make the ring announcement. Security's trying to separate them long enough to get the announcements done, but they just both keep attacking each other. Jarrett gets busted open before the bell even rings. Then it shows you Monty Brown looking on from the top of the entrance ramp. Mike Tenay brings up how Hardy once pinned Triple H to win the WWE Intercontinental title, which just seemed a bit weird to me that TNA would acknowledge WWE, but I suppose they've got nothing to lose. Then we also see that Abyss is watching, I think it's ringside from what I can remember. They end up brawling up into the balcony of the asylum, and Hardy tries to throw Jarrett over, but doesn't. Jarrett drills the referee Rudy Charles with a chair, which knocks him out cold. Bit more back and forth, bit of a scrap. Hardy hits a swanton, and the referee is amazingly back in the ring. Just from being out cold after a little bit of a brawl, he's back in the ring. Jarrett puts on the figure of 4 right in the middle of the ring, and then it cuts to Raven watching from high up. I think, what did they refer to it as, Raven's Perch or something at one point? So yeah, he's up there watching. Then Dusty Rhodes comes to ringside to sort of cheer on Hardy and what have you. Jarrett tries to run away from the match. Dusty just grabs hold of him, throws him back into the ring. Hardy puts him in the spine line, which apparently he debuted the week at some point, as his surprise submission move, which is basically, it's just a Boston Crab, except you hold both legs under one arm. Jarrett manages to get out of that, slides out of the ring, and then just proper pops Dusty Rhodes. Dusty, interferes, nails Jarrett, which brings out, and I hate saying his name, Vince Russo, who has his traditional baseball bat with him. The bat ends up in the ring. Russo's trying to get Dusty back to the dressing room. Nobody actually gets to use the bat before Russo takes it out. Hardy goes up for the swanton, but Jarrett moves out of the way. Referee gets distracted by something, and then he just absolutely waffles Hardy from behind, and that's enough to get the victory and retain the title. Most of the match was pretty solid. The finish was lame. Looking back, giving Jeff Hardy the title here would have really created some interest leading up to the Victory Road pay-per-view. It would have been amazing, but obviously there were reasons why TNA weren't willing to put the belt on anybody else. Jarrett, excuse me. So the 4th match is a #1 contenders match between Jeff Hardy and Monty Brown. This is basically the culmination of a sort of 4-man tournament. Winner of the match gets a sorry about that, DVD player in the background. Winner of this match gets a title shot at Victory Road, which is TNA's first 3-hour pay-per-view on Sunday. Hardy beat Abyss in a previous round. Excuse me. Monty Brown beat Raven the week before to qualify for this match. So early on, Monty Brown is really sort of using the power game. You know, he's using that advantage. And then it shows you Abyss and Raven watching on. There's like a fade out for a commercial break, and when they come back, Hardy's just taken control of the match for like the first time ever. Monty regains the advantage and locks on a sleeper. Hardy counters with a jawbreaker, hits a twist of fate, but Brown kicks out at 2. Referee gets knocked down. Hardy hits a swanton, but obviously there's no referee to count. Abyss comes in, gives Hardy a black hole slam, and Monty responds by pouncing Abyss. Then Raven comes in, nails Monty Brown with a chair, and then hits him with the Raven effect DDT, which I always thought was called the even flow, but you know, it is what it is. This allows Hardy to get the twist of fate and score the win. It's a pretty good match, and in my opinion, it set up Hardy as a solid contender, and also set up the first Monsters Ball match at Victory Road. So the 5th match is another 6-man tag. It's Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles and Ron Killings again. This time they're facing Team Canada, Bobby Roode, Eric Young and Ruffy Silverstein. From what I can gather, this is Ruffy Silverstein's only appearance as TNA. So that's as far as I know, and he made it onto DVD, so fair play. Baby faces control the beginning of the match, and they go to a commercial break, but when we come back, Team Canada is able to turn it around, and obviously that's because of Ruffy Silverstein. Hardy gets a hot tag and cleans house on all 3 members of Team Canada. AJ and Truth take out Young and Roode, who at this point, by the way, are NWA Tag Team Champions, leaving Hardy and Silverstein alone in the ring. A twist of fate later, and the good guys win. Rest of Team Canada comes out to attack them, so BG, James and Conan come out to even the odds. Scott Demore is left in the ring with Hardy, so Hardy gives him a flatliner followed by a swanton off a ladder. Jarrett sneaks into the ring, nails Hardy with the guitar, and then announces that Victory Road match will indeed be a ladder match, because Hardy had already laid down the challenge apparently. So after beating from behind, Jarrett accepts. Which leads on to match number 6, the ladder match for the NWA World Heavyweight title, Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett at Victory Road. There's a video package included here. It shows you like little bits of build up, and I like how TNA did the tail of the tape in X Factors before the title matches. I'm not sure if they still do, but on these DVDs it does show you them, and I always thought that was a nice touch. At this point, Hall and Nash have made their sort of TNA appearances, not debuts sort of thing. Scott Hall is back in Jeff Jarrett, and apparently Kevin Nash is in Hardy's corner. Straight from that, ladder gets involved by Hardy bringing it in. Brings in another, so there's 2 ladders in the ring. Hardy does a really neat spot. He sort of gets Jeff Jarrett in the middle of the ladder, and he's stood above him and he's pulling the sides in, so it's like crushing his ribs, which I thought was pretty cool. I think it's been done since, but you know, this is from like 2004, so we're going back 16 years. Wow. So yeah, neither Hall or Nash have made an appearance at this point yet, so Hardy somehow messes up and blows an STO, and then misses the leapfrog leg drop off the ladder. Rudy Charles takes a bump, so he's out for a while. Jarrett climbs the ladder, Hardy knocks him off, and then Scott Hall comes out, and he looked rough. He gives Hardy the edge, as it's referred to here. Security come out, try and get Hall to leave. He responds by just like not leaving at all, just hanging around ringside. Hardy does the catapult with the ladder where he jumps and it smashes Jarrett in the face. Tries to climb the ladder. And then Jarrett climbs up as well, but Hardy knocks him off, but then Hall interferes again. Rudy Charles can't really do it because, you know, obviously it's a ladder match. There's not really any rules other than grab the belt, win, or whatever, and win. Jarrett climbs the ladder again, gets pushed off and crotched by Hardy. He climbs. Jarrett pushes him outside the ring, where he lands on Scott Hall. Hardy hits a twist of fate on Hall, and he has absolutely no idea how to take it at all. Swanton follows. Jarrett and Hardy go up to climb the ladder, and Kevin Nash's music hits. He comes down with 2 guitars over his shoulder, and for some bizarre reason everyone assumes he's on Hardy's side. You know, it's just, you know, even watching this the first time I knew what would come in. Of course, you know, he gives a guitar to Hall, and they use him to beat up Hardy and give Jarrett the win. And TNA Down West obviously is announced as well. Oh, we're shocked that Nash turned on Hardy. Really? Why? It's Kevin Nash. I'm surprised he didn't pull a ligament or damage himself somehow walking down to the ring, climbing in, carrying 2 heavy guitars. So next up is Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles versus the Naturals. Styles and Hardy both coming off losses in title matches at Victory Road, so obviously, you know, they're out for redemption. They need to prove a point. They're in a foul mood, blah 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 blah. And the Naturals just don't even look like they're in the same league as Styles and Hardy, even though they are former NWA Tag Team Champions. AJ pretty much dominates both Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas. Styles and Hardy execute some really dangerous looking double team maneuvers and get the win when AJ Styles hits the Styles Clash on Stevens. Match 8 is another 6-man. It's Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles and Randy Savage versus the Kings of Wrestling, which is Kevin Nash, Scott Hall and Jeff Jarrett. And this one's from Turning Point. Before the match starts, we get told that Savage has been kidnapped, so it'll be 2 versus 3. Hall and Nash come out wearing Elvis style jumpsuits. Jarrett comes out just wearing like his normal wrestling gear. AJ and Jarrett start off, you know, nice and steady. Nash and Hall obviously still in this full jumpsuits. Then, you know, they don't take any of them off. But Jarrett's in his, like I said, in his usual gear. Hall comes in. Styles gets some offense in, and then AJ calls for Nash to come in. So he gets in. Hardy, you know, manages to get some offense in. The outnumbered, you know, baby faces, the good guys, are doing well for themselves, but then the heels take over due to the numbers game. Nash uses his size to his advantage. Jarrett goes for a figure of 4, but AJ gets a couple of rolls up for 2 counts. Hardy finally gets a tag in, hits a modified twist of fate on Jarrett, but Nash takes the referee out. That pulls him out of the ring and just decks him. AJ then hits Nash with a big baseball slide. Hall nails Hardy with a guitar on the top rope, but, you know, Hardy falls, and he almost sort of falls in the swanton position, motion, and lands on top of Jarrett, but obviously there's no referee. AJ hits a plancher on Hall outside the ring. Then all of a sudden, Randy Savage's music hits. He walks out, stands on the ring apron, makes a tag to it's AJ, I believe, and he's got like a long sleeve shirt on, and he's like bald, and he didn't look good. Anyway, Jarrett gets a sleeper on Savage, but he reverses it, and then Hardy puts one on Hall, and AJ jumps up on Kevin Nash's back, puts a sleeper on him. Jarrett goes for a sunset flip. Savage just punches him and then just sort of lowers himself down, hooks his leg in like the weakest ever roll up, and gets the win. To me, in this match, AJ did all the work. Savage comes out for less than a minute and gets to pin the world champion. It just sent, I don't know, I mean, and obviously it's Savage. You got to play to, I suppose, the ego, the name, the legend, whatever you want to call it. And I'm a Savage fan. Don't get me wrong. I love Randy Savage, but it just seemed a bit like AJ done all the hard work. Savage comes out, but I suppose it is what it is. Match 9 is Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is one half of the NWA Tag Team Champions at this point. Scott D'Amore interferes straight away. Roode goes to work on the neck of Hardy. Roode looks amazing. It's obvious to anybody who's watched wrestling that he was going to be a big star in TNA. Even at this point, you could see he was going to be one that would just go from there and just constantly rise, which obviously he did. And then he went to WWE. He was amazing in NXT, and now he's, well, so yeah, and these two would eventually wrestle one-on-one on pay-per-view at Unbreakable in September 2005. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, a bit back and forth. Hardy hits the swanton and gets the win. Match number 10, Jeff Hardy versus Scott Hall with special referee Rowdy Roddy Piper. Hall comes out again wearing the Elvis gear, but he has a proper Elvis, I think he has a plastic Elvis hair piece on as well, which is just, you know, slightly comical. Don't sound it, but, you know. Piper goes to, he sort of checks Hardy, but he goes to extreme lengths on checking Scott Hall. Finds a couple of things he don't like. He finds like some sort of spike thing, a fork, and then a chain round his neck. The bell rings, and then for some reason Hall frisks Piper and finds a pair of handcuffs, which is baffling, but Piper's count for Hall is really slow, and then it's a lot faster for Hardy. There's a bit of back and forth. Hall throws Hardy into Piper, goes to a turnbuckle, takes out some brass knuckles that he must have hidden there at some point during the day. Piper tries to stop him. Hall goes to punch him, but Piper just pokes him in the eyes. Hardy finishes with a twist of fate, which TNA has just abbreviated to just the twist, and a swanton bomb for the win. Hardy gets a microphone, says, "I'm coming for Jarrett," and Piper declares next world champion. Then, in a big shocker, Abyss comes out and just dismantles Hardy. At the time, it was a big shocker because the popular belief and the rumour was that Abyss was on his way to WWE, so for him to appear here, the fans were like, holy shit, he's still here. This leads on to match number 11, a false count anywhere match between Jeff Hardy and Abyss at Destination. Apologise for that, X. This match was dubbed the Final Assault. They have a video package that makes Hardy look like he's really motivated for this. Funnily enough though, during his entrance, Hardy is booed by the fans, but I think it might be because Abyss has been such like a hardcore TNA guy. He's been there from the beginning, so I don't know, there'll be reasons, but yeah, Hardy doesn't get booed by the fans in the Impact Zone. Match starts. Abyss takes out a cameraman as they're fighting backstage, almost like right away. Hardy takes a bump that they show like loads of times on TV. Takes a bump. He sets Abyss up on a table. He has two tables lying next to each other. Sets Abyss up on one, climbs up outside on the wall. I'm pretty sure it's this match. My memory is bad. I've made notes, and he jumps off and does a swanton, and he hits Abyss, and then his legs go through the second table, so both of them end up decked. I'm pretty sure it's that one that I'm thinking of. If I'm wrong, I apologise. So yeah, they end up brawling back to the ring, do some brawling with a chair, and then Abyss brings out a ladder. Hardy delivers his signature leg drop. Abyss comes back and hits shock treatment. Hardy eventually gets a twist of fate onto a ladder for a 3 count after Abyss goes to try and slam Hardy onto it, choke slam him onto it, something. Abyss is not happy, so he goes under the ring, comes out with his little bag of thumbtacks, lays them all on the floor, delivers a black hole slam onto Hardy, who for some reason, and probably for a better visual of this, has taken his shirt off by this point, so obviously you can see all the drawing pins and everything, or tacks as Americans call, stuck in his back, which is pretty graphic. Match 12 is Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles versus Raven and Abyss, and this is basically just to build up the Styles versus Abyss and Raven versus Hardy matches that are coming up on the Lockdown pay-per-view. West at one point calls Lockdown potentially the greatest show in the history of the world. He loved building stuff up, did Don West. It's a pretty typical tag team match, you know, back and forth and everything. Right, Raven knocks Hardy out, which makes it difficult for AJ to get a tag to him, but eventually he does. And then Hardy cleans house, and then it all just breaks down and all forming and brawling, and they all hit the big moves. Abyss and Raven bring a steel chain into the mix, and as Abyss goes to hit Hardy, AJ pushes Jeff out of the way and takes the impact for himself, takes the bullet, so to speak, and that ends the match as, you know, in a disqualification. TNA mentions about that it's a double DQ, but the Abyss blatantly went to hit him with a chain and made contact with Styles, so obviously they are the ones that have been disqualified. But you know, it is what it is. It was a really good match, and it did set up, well, I wouldn't say a really good match, but it was a damn good match. It set up both matches for the pay-per-view really well. Abyss then whips AJ with the chain while AJ stood in the buckles, and Raven just throws Hardy outside the ring, and he just goes straight through a table, and then Abyss pretty much hangs AJ with the chain around his neck, which is pretty graphic to watch. But if you've seen the Big Boss Man hanging from SummerSlam 99, he's probably going to get shot by wrestling historians now, but yeah, the SummerSlam where Boss Man got hung by the Brood, it is still pretty disturbing to watch. Anyway, match number 13 is the tables match, Jeff Hardy versus Raven at Lockdown. Again, there's another short video package to start off with. Right from the off, Hardy goes after Raven with a chair. Raven comes back, then Hardy comes back, and it's just mostly back and forth for the first few minutes. Raven, first one to bleed. Hardy sets Raven up on a table and goes for a swanton, but Raven moves out of the way. Hardy goes crashing through the table, but that doesn't give Raven the win. Raven sets up a double stack with 4 tables, and they climb towards the top of the cage. Hardy knocks Raven onto the tables and then hits a leg drop off the top of the cage to win the match, because as Mike TNA says, if you go crashing through a table yourself, it don't count as a win. You have to put your opponent through the actual table itself. So it's like, right, okay, fair enough. So yeah, Hardy gets the win, and I thought it was a really good tables match. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and that is the end of the matches on the DVD. There is a bonus one, which is behind the scenes of making Modest, the music video, which is obviously Jeff Hardy's theme at this point, sung by him. So yeah, that is pretty much, you know, Enigma, the best of Jeff Hardy. It's a pretty solid DVD if you can find a copy and you're a Jeff Hardy fan but haven't seen any of his TNA stuff. Grab them if you can get them. I have hopefully got, oh well, I will have the second one coming soon. The third one I cannot find at all for love nor money. I'm really struggling to find the third Jeff Hardy DVD. But when the second one comes, I will watch that and no doubt do a review. Keep your eyes peeled. I am going to be doing some reviews of my old school TNA DVDs, because like I said, after doing that video of my collection, I watched this and I watched a couple of others. So like I say, keep your eyes out for those. That'll do it for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Thank you to those who have subscribed. If this is one of my first videos you've seen, welcome to the channel, and look back through, there's all sorts of stuff on this channel. A lot of it is wrestling related stuff, but there are also movie reviews and just bits of random stuff, merchandise, belt unboxings, all that kind of thing. So yeah, there's usually something on here for everybody. So yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. Look after yourselves, be careful, take care, and I will be back with a new video soon. So as always, like I said, take care. Bye for now.